Welcome to Ask Gwen, everyone. Today I have Tiffany with me, and I'm going to let Miss Tiffany take it away and share her story. So, welcome, Tiffany.
Hi, thank you so much, Wynn, for having me on your podcast. I'm so excited to be a part of this and to share my story. I am a wife, a mom, a pastor. I originally am from Baltimore, Maryland, but right now I am so happy to be living in the sunny Central Florida area and enjoy all of this warm weather, even though back home the leaves are changing and everything. But I'm so excited to be able to share, where I've come from. I know a lot of your listeners can relate to overcoming adversity and pressing through things that for others may have seemed impossible. For me, I grew up in the inner city area of Baltimore, and if anybody knows anything about Baltimore, they usually ask me, do you know anything about the show The Wire on HBO? And I said, yep. HBO The Wire was literally my life. I lived through the crack epidemic, through police brutality in that area, and a lot of people who I grew up in that area are either no longer with me, are locked up, or just nowhere to be found. And it was nothing but the grace of God that He kept me safe, and my parents kept me safe. But I didn't grow up easy. I grew up in the church. My grandfather was a pastor, and we actually lived across the street from the church, and so we focused a lot on serving others, and being in that impoverished area, I just saw so much. And as an adult, now I realize that those memories have created PTSD. And so as an adult, I have a lot of, digging deep and trying to connect with what happened to me and push through those things. The hardest part of my life was being molested and going through sexual incest in my family. And having grown up in a super religious family, a lot of that was covered up, and I wasn't able to tell my truth for many years. And that was probably one of the hardest things that I've ever had to deal with, was dealing with why me? What was it about me? Why God? Why God did you allow me to go through that and keep me here? I had several really dark days where I wanted to commit suicide and tried to commit suicide, and it's only by God's grace that I'm still here. And I believe that I'm still here because I have a purpose, and my purpose is to let other people know that no matter what you've been through, no matter where you've come from, no matter what you've seen or who you've grown up around, you can be the best thing that God called you to be. You can rise from your situation, and you don't have to stay where you are. I know a lot of us stay stuck in our past, and I can tell you that a lot of my life I spent reliving what happened to me over and over again and questioning why I experienced the things that I've experienced. What gives me hope is knowing that what I've experienced is not all 100% for me, but it's for others who have gone through and are going through similar situations and feel like they want to give up and feel like they have no purpose, feel like they can't have joy, and that they're always depressed and down. And I'm here to tell you that those dark days won't last forever. You have to know that you can get up from this. It's going to take work, and you have to want to be invested in that work and in yourself, and know that you are worth it. Know that you are necessary on this earth, that there is a purpose in you that was put in you from the moment that you were created in your mother's womb. And without you, that purpose will not come to fruition. And so I want you to know that whatever you've gone through, whatever you're facing right now, that you can call on people like me. You can find help. You're not alone in any moment, in any second, even though it feels like it. Sometimes we just have to reach out and try to look past where we are and go deeper and know that inside of you there's so much untapped potential that you have, that if you would just get a glimpse of what's inside of you, you would just see so much joy. You would just feel an incredible sense of purpose. And that's what I want for every one of your listeners today, when I want them to know that this is their moment to live. You don't have to stay where you are. You don't have to die where you are. You don't have to be where you are for one moment longer than you want to be there. And know that you can climb out of whatever it is. And I'm a Christian, and so, I relate everything back to the story of Christ, where he died, and the story didn't stay there, that he laid in the grave. He got up. And that same power that allowed him to get up is the same power that's in you. You can get up from your grave. You can rise. You can live. And if you don't know that, I need you to hook up with people like me. Continue to hook up with people like Wen, and know that we're here to pour into you. We're here to let you know that you are needed. You are loved, no matter who you are and what you've been through. And that's what I want everyone to know. It's so important. With everything that I've gone through as well, as a mother, just recently, I dealt with my daughter who battles depression, and unfortunately, we had to take her to an institution this week to be treated for her mental illness. And it was the hardest thing as a mother for me to do, to leave her there and pray and hope that she would get the help that she needed. And so since sharing that on my social media, I've received so many messages from mothers saying that their children have either wanted to or have tried to commit suicide. And it's because of the time that we're in. It's so hard for these children right now to deal with school and COVID and the masks and not being able to be with their friends and not having physical touch and all of those things that we sometimes take for granted. Well, these children, they don't have the skills to cope in their mind with what's going on. And so if you're a parent, I challenge you to capture your children today, to go to them and hug them tight and let them know that they're loved, and listen to their feelings, and don't push them aside. And I know in my community, I'm an African-American woman, and growing up, my mother's response to my depression was, "You're fine, pray, you're fine, get it together," or, she'll spank me or something like that. And I just want you to know that there's so much more that you can do for your children. And the worst thing you can do is dismiss their feelings, to tell them that they're fine, that they'll be okay. We need to get them the help that they need. And if that's taking them somewhere where they can be safe, speaking to a psychiatrist, we have to be brave enough to do those things. And thankfully, my daughter has come home, and she's safe, and she's got a long road to go, but I'm there with her, and I'm going to stick with her through the end. And so if you're going through that with your child, know that they will be fine, but we have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of love to give, more patience, more peace, and just have to spend those precious moments with our children, because we don't get them back, and the same for us. We don't get our life back. We only have one life to live. And so we need to live that life every day like it's our last day. Do what makes you happy. Make those connections with people who are important to you. If you serve God, serve him. If you have faith, keep believing and holding on to your faith. And know that this day might feel like the worst, but there's morning light to come. And so I hope that by sharing just a little bit of my story, that you're encouraged, and that you will hold on to hope and know that this is not the end for you.
Well, I appreciate that, because I think a lot of people are suffering. I just realized, and by the time you guys hear this, it will be Sunday, but I just realized when it hits New Year's Day 2021, I
Mm.
will be trapped in my house for a year. Yeah,
Wow.
because of COVID, and because of COVID, basically. I got trapped in my house, and luckily, thank God, I'm seeing a counselor, and my spirits are
Yeah.
pretty high. But for me to realize that that is the hardest thing ever, because
Yeah.
we can't do physical touch. We can't do the we can't see people. We can't do we need to do social distancing. We can't
Mhm.
do anything else. And so I am working on two actually four projects right now, and one of them I can't talk about yet, but
Mhm.
because I need to see where my life plays out, but
Mhm.
in the next couple weeks. And so, but I am excited that it's in the works, and I have had a couple meetings about it, but I'm
Mhm.
excited that it's in the works. But I will be, things are looking up
Mhm.
the grace of God that I did what I did, and as of today. And so I just have to hold my cards close to my chest to see where things play out in the next couple weeks. But I will tell you guys one thing. I am selling the house. I am living now, and I'm moving to a house. I may retrofit one, I may build one, but we're going to have to see what happens in the next couple weeks with that. But the other projects I'm working on, I can't say yet, but you guys are gonna be shocked when I fully release the news.
That's incredible. It's so important to have things to look forward to. And I'm excited to hear your news when you release it.
Well, my fan base knows about part of it, and my fan base knows that I'm selling my house and moving within Colorado, but they don't know the other part, and I can't say the other part until the at least until I finish journalism school, and we'll see what happens. But I am super excited that things are looking up. Now, Tiffany, what is your favorite book?
Right now, my favorite book is Boundaries, and, and it is such a good book. It is it is becoming my Bible actually, and I need to get the author really quickly for you, but it's just the title says when to say yes, how to say no, to take control of your life, and it is so important for us, even in this time that is so different from what we've ever experienced before, to know, you don't have to say yes to everything. You can say no to things. You can let people know that you have your projects that you're doing. And I know that people who have experienced abuse, we sometimes tend to always want to be people pleasers. And I think, with COVID, us, going through it, and so many boundaries that we have with COVID, not being able to be around people and physically touch people, it's a time to just get into yourself and know, what is important to you. Get back to those things that make you happy, and I'm just going through this book slowly, and I'm learning so much. And it's by Henry Cloud, and again, it is It is boundaries, when to say yes, how to say no, and I think that's one of the great books that you can grab and study in this time.
Boundaries. So people go through and figure out boundaries, and by David Cloud. And then Tiffany, if your BFF had to write a book about you, what would the title be?
Wow, I think the book would be Job chapter Tiffany, chapter Tiffany, because I feel I so relate to, the story of Job and all the adversity that he had gone through, and the incredible message in that story is that he didn't go through all of that just to go through it. He went through all of it to really see the nature of God and to know that in every situation, especially the ones that are the most challenging, that He is with us and He's still God. And so I can definitely relate to that. I think my friends would relate to that. They would say, with all that I've gone through, I've still been able to hang on to my faith and have been able to, testify of the goodness of God and what He's done in my life. And I think that's important for us as well, to know that in all of the adversity, especially if you believe in God, to know that He's still God and He's still going to be there for you. He's still there, even in the darkest hours. And so I would hope that my friends would say that that's a story that they would write for me.
And if you had to move and only take 5 things with you, and yes, your family could come, what would they be?
Ooh, for me, one, it would be the Word of God in a phone, because I always want to have easy access to words of encouragement and understanding and wisdom. And then the next thing would probably be makeup, because I love makeup. I watch tutorials on makeup all the time, and I actually was a makeup artist professionally, and that's just something that gets me going. So I would definitely take my makeup bag. I would definitely take some cute clothes because no matter where we are, whatever makes you happy, and that's what makes me happy. I would love to at some point learn how to model. I think just the fun stuff. And I think what am I at? Number 3. So number 3 would be probably my family portrait. I love looking at my family and how we've grown, and look back at memories of my children and just reminisce and just see my family in our best times. I think that's important for me as well. Number 4 would be all of my favorite foods, everything that I love to eat, things that make me happy, those comfort foods, mac and cheese. For me, I'm from Baltimore, so it would definitely be some Baltimore crabs. Those blue crabs, steamed crabs would definitely be on the list. And then number 5, I think, man, what would I bring for? Probably a shelter, somewhere that would be safe for my family, safe for me, a place that I can call home.
Yeah. So it would be a shelter, it would be makeup, it would be a phone, and it would be comfort foods. Sounds great to me. And
Yeah.
Tiffany, what is your morning routine?
Okay. So my morning routine, I'm not a morning person. I am becoming more of a morning person the older that I get. But I definitely get up in the morning and say thanks for just the opportunity to do another day again. That's so important. The next thing I do is make up my bed. And I learned that from coaching, that when you make up your bed, it helps you to get going in the day. I don't exactly know what the science is behind it, But I do know that when I have done that, I feel like I've done a good thing first thing in the morning. I feel like I've accomplished something first thing in the morning. And then, of course, my children, I have my children, we kiss each other goodbye if it's a school day. And then I'm off to my office. I'm after I'm getting myself together, I'm off just starting to check off my list and get going. I have coffee or tea in the morning, and I usually take some time to just meditate. I think it's important to take some time and just relax before you dive into work sometimes. So I know if I'm having an incredibly busy day, I try to carve out some time to just read a little chapter or listen to some music that's going to be inspirational, and then get ready to go.
and then get ready to go. Well, that's amazing. And so, do you have any questions for me as we wrap this interview up?
Yeah, well, I would actually like to know, what are your favorite things to do in this season of COVID, I guess, that we're living in? What's your favorite thing to do to get your mind off of everything that's going on?
Journalism, journalism,
Yeah.
journalism, journalism. And I will say that to the 10th degree. And um, me being me, I dive bomb into journalism. I dived bomb into journalism back in March, and I haven't looked back since. So
Mm.
journalism and music are keeping me sane.
Wow. That's incredible. That's just like, journaling, and writing. Writing is so important to do, and keeping, notes of your feelings and things like that. So that's incredible.
No, I'm not talking about journal. I'm not talking about journalism. I'm talking about journalism in the sense of inspiring other people. I'm not talking about journaling as in journalism.
Right, right. I know. I'm just saying that, for people to write and to tap into that is good as well.
So, where can people find you? Where can people get a hold of you if they choose to do so?
Yeah. So my website is www.tiffanys. That's Tiffany, Jeffers, JEFFERS.com. And you can follow me on social media. If you go to the website, everything will be there. Or you could Google me, Tiffany Jeffers. I usually come right on up. So I would love to connect with anyone who is looking out for me.
Well, awesome. Awesome. And you guys can find me on all of the social media under Win, WIN, Kelly, KELY, Charles, CHARLAS. And you guys can find me and just follow along in my journey as I move, basically. You guys, I am moving. I am literally moving. So you're going to have to bear with me as I move, but I will be taking you guys along on the journey, and we'll see what happens here in the next couple weeks. But I am staying in Colorado, and then I will release the other news that I hinted at when it's time to release that news. But for right now, I'm staying in Colorado, and so we'll see, but things are looking up. And yeah, welcome to Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. I knew that I was going to have to sell my house eventually, but not 1 year after my dad died. But welcome to Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, and we'll catch you guys later I will. And I hope you guys enjoyed another fabulous episode of Ask to Win. Thanks to you guys. Bye, you guys.